Weeks after Guatemala's Fuego volcano erupted, killing more than 100 people, relief efforts continue to pour in, including efforts from a local church group. Folks from Fairfield West Baptist Church have been down there for close to a week now, helping people in need.
In a story you will only see on 9 on Your Side, our TJ Parker spoke with members of that team in Guatemala.
Guatemala's Fuego volcano erupted June 3rd, spitting out ash, lava, and hot gas raced down its slopes, burying villages and killing more than 100 people. It's the volcano's worst eruption in 4 decades, but relief poured in quick.
As we got down here, got on the ground, we realized there was some need up in the volcano area, and we took advantage of that and went up there.
I spoke with Jeff Kenworthy on FaceTime from Guatemala. He's one of 12 people from Fairfield West Baptist Church who had already planned a mission trip to the country. They spent the last week helping folks living in Chuchu after lava flow cut off the village.
We had an idea of what we were going to. We had no idea how we were going to get there.
It wasn't an easy hike.
They were off, and there was no easy way to get up to them. We had to go the long way around, about 85 miles, and probably 20 of it on dirt roads and crossing rivers.
Jeff believes his group was the first these people had seen since the eruption. They brought them the supplies they desperately needed.
Just came in and hugged us, grateful. We just got them the things that they need.
Pastor Rob Rosenbaum couldn't be more proud.
It's been unique for us to be people right here in Cincinnati. We're able to reach a group of villagers who had no help at all.
Well worth it. Well worth it.
That group is leaving Guatemala tomorrow and is expected to be back in the tri-state sometime tomorrow night. Reporting in Fairfield, I'm TJ Parker, 9 on Your Side.
Happening now, police in Seattle are searching for a gunman who terrorized drivers there yesterday afternoon. Investigators say a total of 4 cars were hit on the driver's side. Police shut down the highway in both directions for 5 hours. SeaTac Airport even closed a runway, but no flights were delayed or canceled. No one was hurt, but the gunman is still on the loose. Demonstrations are planned nationwide today over immigration policy. Protesters are speaking out against the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy, which separates families entering illegally at the border. Now, since the policy was announced in May, nearly 700 children have been separated from their parents. Even one of the president's biggest supporters, evangelist Franklin Graham, is coming out against this policy.
Terrible to see families ripped apart, and I don't support that one bit.
Today, Attorney General Jeff Sessions defended the administration, saying there are consequences when someone breaks the law. And White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said the administration is only enforcing the laws that are already on the books. She blamed Democrats for not working with Republicans to change the laws.
New information at 5:30. Police say a rape suspect who jumped into the Ohio River to get away from officers is now presumed dead. Investigators were looking for Robert Casey yesterday afternoon. A K-9 officer tracked him down on Elm Street in Ludlow, Kentucky. That's where police say Casey jumped into the river to avoid capture. Officers saw him go underwater, but he never came back up. Crews searched the area for hours and found nothing. The Cincinnati Police Department says it is now conducting an administrative review of the incident. 3 teenagers are in jail accused of shooting people with pellet guns. Cincinnati police arrested William Torin, Jimon Bishop, and Christian Walker last night. Police say in the past 2 months, 2 people have reported being shot with a BB or pellet gun from a moving car. And we told you about one victim back in May who was walking his dog in Hyde Park when he was hit twice in the arm. He had to go to the hospital to get a pellet removed, actually. And earlier this month, police say a patron at the Oak Tavern in Oakley was hit with a pellet. Last night, officers stopped the gold Kia reported to be involved in the shootings and found the 3 suspects inside. Police say there may be more victims in this case. They're asking anyone with information to please call Crime Stoppers.
The Cincinnati Zoo is getting another big donation toward its new capital campaign. The newest Mike's Car Wash location in Oakley celebrated its grand opening by hosting a free Ultimate Wash weekend. Organizers say the event raised more than $12,000, and that money is going to go toward the zoo's More Home to Roam campaign, which we learned about just last week. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet is launching a statewide program to restore or replace more than 1,000 bridges. The state says it plans to spend about $700 million over 6 years, with nearly 400 bridges being rehabilitated in just the first 2 years. Several bridges in northern Kentucky are being evaluated. Find the full list at bridgingkentucky.com.
Still ahead, Apple at odds with law enforcement.
Why police are not pleased with an iPhone update coming later this year.
I'm John Matarese. The Bengals' new low-price ticket plan leaves you plenty of money to buy a hoodie, a jersey, food, and even bring some spare change home. What's the catch? We'll check it out. Coming up on 9 on Your Side.
You are watching 9 on Your Side at 5:30.
You're watching 9 on Your Side at 5:30.
Law enforcement agencies will soon have a harder time gaining access to information on iPhones. Apple's going to include a new feature in a future update of its iOS software. It's called USB restricted mode. The feature disables data transfer on iPhones and iPads through the Lightning port. Apple says it's meant to prevent criminal identity theft and hacking attacks, but it will also prevent investigators from using popular third-party hacking tools to access the devices. Apple said in a statement today, "We have the greatest respect for law enforcement, and we don't design our security improvements to frustrate their efforts to do their jobs." This update will be available that is, in iOS 12 later this year.
1 year later, people in London are marking the anniversary of the tragic Grenfell Tower fire. 72 people died after a small fire that started on the 4th floor tore through the 24-story building. Investigators say the cladding on the building helped the flames to spread more quickly. Today, people gathered for a silent march to remember the people who were lost. And the inquiry team looking into what led to the deadly fire heard from the families of the victims.
My mum and my sister were murdered and cremated on the 14th of June last year. I had to listen to them suffer, and I had to listen to them die. I had to watch Grenfell Tower burn for a couple of days, but particularly the top floors. If that's not torture, then I'm not really sure what else is.
Earlier today, all of England held a moment of silence. The Queen and the new Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, were among those pausing to honor the victims.
Ultimate Fighting champion Conor McGregor was in court today over a backstage fight in New York in April. McGregor faces several charges. He's accused of hurling a hand truck into a bus and shattering a window. Today's hearing was no more than 2 minutes long. Attorneys say negotiations for a potential plea deal are ongoing. The Dublin native's next court date has been scheduled for July 26th. Thousands of tri-staters are flying the red, white, and blue today in honor of Flag Day. But did you ever notice that many of those flags are made in China? Consumer reporter John Matarese looks into why so many flags come from Chinese factories and are not made by American workers. Steve.
Well, I believe they call it going granular. What we're going to do, you know it's going to be hot this weekend. You've heard that. I'm going to take you hour by hour through the weekend and how it's going to feel like so you can plan accordingly with everything going on and when we break this heat wave.
The Bengals this week rolled out an incredible ticket deal with seats to home games for just $20 a ticket. Consumer reporter John Matarese looked into the deal to find the catches and see if it's worth considering. But first, a big embarrassment for Target, John.
Yes, Kristen, Target tonight is apologizing after what some shoppers called a racist Father's Day card showed up in stores. Targets across the country are now pulling a card that wished Happy Father's Day to Baby Daddy. But Baby Daddy can imply deadbeat dad. One woman said on Target's Facebook page, "Really? This was the only Father's Day card that featured a black couple?" Well, I can tell you the card is gone now. On this Flag Day, here's one that makes me take out the skunk and say, doesn't that stink? You know that flag flying in front of your house? Well, it's probably made by Chinese workers in China. Flags USA in Oakley tells us it sells only American-made flags. It says that plainly on the box of their flags. But it turns out many discount stores still sell Chinese-made flags. The law prohibits the military from buying them now, but stores are still allowed to sell them, and I still say, doesn't that stink? The Cincinnati Bengals this week rolled out the lowest price tickets they've ever offered since Paul Brown Stadium was built 20 years ago. You can see the team this year for just $20 a game. So is there a catch? Well, that's what we went to find out.
The jungle is stirring back to life this week as the Bengals practice on the stadium turf for the first time this new season. Meantime, a jungle